I saw the president of the United States, my president, Donald J. Trump, speaking at a rally saying that for the 250th anniversary of the United States Foundation, they were going to hold a UFC event on the lawn of the White House. Not only do I think that this is probably the biggest waste of taxpayer dollars since they put that shrimp on the treadmill. Yes, the United States government spent $1.3 million putting a shrimp on a treadmill. But not only is it the biggest waste of taxpayer dollars, I also think that this isn't going to happen. I don't think that this card is ever going to take place simply because of the logistics behind creating such an event and the state of the UFC as it is right now. So first and foremost, there are no American champions. Having a fight on the lawn of the White House would basically just be like an Apex card, but in the lawn of the White House. So I feel like the UFC would want to sell tickets to a big fight like that rather than holding it at the White House. But let's say that this card actually does end up happening. What could we expect out of this card? So Tony has died. I'm going to be building the perfect UFC America card. Do you like that? UFC America. Everyone's calling it UFC White House. I think UFC America just has a better ring to it. But let's get straight into it. First thing I want to say is that since this is going to be happening in a year, we have to predict what will happen within a year for this transpire. Let's just try to predict this. So I'm not going to be able to predict early prelim stuff. So we're just going to do main card fight. So the first fight that I want to put on this card is Joe Pyfer versus Bo Nickel. Now, this is a fight that has been hyped up for quite some time. The clash of the gingers. They both fucking, on one hand we have Bo Nickel, who is the most delusional fighter in the UFC, and then we have Joe Pyfer, who's the most salty fighter in the UFC. Bo Nickel, All-American Wrestling Champion. Joe Pyfer is from Philadelphia. That's in his wheelhouse, I think that Joe Pyfer versus Bo Nickel makes a lot of sense. And this is also, I have to take into account that this is going to be a year in the future. I think that they're going to do Joe Pyfer versus Gregory Rodriguez. And then Bo Nickel will probably pick up another win in that time. So I think that this could be in the middleweight division around the 14-15 spot by the time that it gets booked. So Joe Pyfer versus Bo Nickel, I think that's a perfect fight to start the card. So the next fight I have on this card is Derrick Lewis versus fucking anyone in the heavyweight division. It does not matter. We need Derrick Lewis on this card. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Derrick Lewis defeated Alexander Volkov, he was like, Donald Trump called me and he told me he wanted me to knock this Russian motherfucker out. And so we have to have the reunion of Derrick Lewis and Trump just for the fucking hype edits. This could be Derrick Lewis's retirement fight. I'm not sure if he's going to get past Taliesin Teixeira. I think I'm going to pick him to beat Taliesin, but it's a 50-50 fight in my opinion. But yeah, we need Derrick Lewis on this UFC America card, all right? And he can fight anyone, preferably a Russian. Maybe he can fight Shamil the Blob Gaziev. Just a Russian, man. Just get Derrick Lewis versus a Russian. Get him an easy crush, bro. Get him an easy slicer, bro. The next fight I want to put on this card, Bryce Mitchell versus Jonathan Martinez. How can we not put Bryce Mitchell on this card? How can we not? He's going to get in the post-fight press conference and be like, Donald Trump, I know you're coming back for QAnon, and I know that you're going to save the United States from the demon Israel. Bryce Mitchell on this card. We need Bryce Mitchell, and I think that he will beat Saeed Nurmagomedov. Those guys are scheduled to fight each other in Abu Dhabi. Jonathan Martinez, he's a fringe rankings. He just lost to Sean Woodson. Maybe he'll pick up another W. Maybe Bryce Mitchell will be on a 2-fight win streak by the time this card gets made. But Jonathan Martinez versus Bryce Mitchell needs to be put on. Brother, hear me now. I'm calling out you. JD Vance, I know you work for Palantir. We need Bryce Mitchell on this card. Colby Covington versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I feel like if you do a UFC White House card, you have to have Colby Covington on it. He's the Donald Trump fanboy. That's literally his entire personality is that fucking red hat, bro. And I feel like a fight with Wonderboy, Unk versus Unk, who is the more washed, Wonderboy or Colby? I feel like that fight makes a lot of sense. He'd be like, fucking Wonder Kid here. He's trying to be friends with the president. I'm the president's favorite fighter. Wonder Kid's not going to be here any longer. Wonder Boy would be like, hey, man, I'm just here for the United States of America. I love my country. I love the great country. And Colby would be like, dude, shut up. You're a little pedophile. You got the karate bus or something. You Wonder Boy. You know, that's what Colby would be doing. And honestly, this fits both of their schedules because Colby is just so inactive. I doubt he fights this year. Now that he's heard about this UFC White House event, he's probably licking his lips and shit. So, Colby Covington versus Wonder Boy. Need that on the card. Next fight that needs to get made, Sean Strickland versus Robert Whittaker. You have to have Sean Strickland on this card, okay? You cannot have a UFC America without Sean fucking Strickland, okay? When you think of American fighters, you think of Sean Strickland, all right? He is literally the fucking antithesis of everything that's wrong with the country. I'm just kidding. But you have to have Sean Strickland on UFC America, okay? Here's the fucking thing, you guys. I'm on the UFC America card because I rep the fucking United States. I'm gonna go to fucking war for you guys. And then he's gonna do his little fucking teeps and jabs for 25 minutes. Trump's gonna be like, get him out of here. Get him out. And for the next fight on this card, I think you should do this. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. I think this makes a lot of sense on the White House lawn. Why? Come on, man. July 4th, you don't got Paddy Pimblett, the Brit, versus Justin Gaethje, the American. You got to do that on the fucking 4th of July. You got to do that on the White House. Co-main event. So what do I think should be the co-main event of this card? Henry Cejudo versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. You have to do this shit, bro. O'Malley is coming off the loss against Merab. He's probably going to get a layup in his next fight against someone easy. Dude, he's literally calling out Cody Garbrandt. Like, that's how much of an easy fucking win O'Malley wants. But he'll probably have a win. Maybe Cejudo will just wait around. You know, this guy's friends with Ali Abdelaziz. He's friends with Cash Patel. Cejudo's going to be like, listen, guys, listen. I have to be on this card, man. Ali Abdelaziz pays my fucking bills. And I have to be on this card to represent America, the United States. I'm going to get Sugar Tits out of here. Listen, guys. How do you not put me on this card? And then O'Malley's going to be like, I invited Smitty to the White House and he didn't show up. Where the fuck is Smitty at? Smitty's going to get getting detained by Secret Service and some shit. How do you not put Smitty in the White House? You know? He's going to be just saying some stupid shit, you know? I don't know. But yeah, I think this fight, you know, another All-American wrestler, Henry Cejudo, youngest Olympic medalist, super recognizable name versus Sean O'Malley, another recognizable name. Both guys aren't champions. It could be 3 rounds. This could be 5 rounds. Fuck it, we ball. And for the main event, I got a couple of main events. We can't be like, John Jones is coming back. Connor's coming back. Connor versus Chandler. That shit has flown. Especially a year from now, that shit is out the water. Shit's not happening, man. Connor versus Chandler was not going to ever happen. Tom versus John Jones is never going to fucking happen. So what is the biggest fight that they can make without a champion, right? Without an American champion. And what is the biggest fight they can make without Connor or without John Jones? Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2 as the headliner for the White House. Thank you so much. I fight at the White House. I went for Donald Trump. You know, Charles Oliveira, everybody loves him. He's a well-known name. He's going to be even more famous now that he got knocked out by Ilya. Versus Max Holloway, who is an American, USA repping motherfucker. Max Holloway. Listen, man, July 4th, we're going to find out. We're going to find out on July 4th, bro. You know? Max Holloway versus Oliveira 2 is a perfect fight for the main event, and it doesn't have to be for a belt because there are no American champions. You can do it for the BMF. I bet they make some stupid fucking belt, the USA belt or some shit, like this will be for the USA belt, you know? Like, can you not just see them doing that, like the USA belt or some shit? Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway 2 should be the main event of this card. I know it's not as big as Chandler versus McGregor or John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, but I'm trying to keep it fucking realistic, alright? So, that is my UFC America pay-per-view. If you like the video, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit. Thank you guys for 7,000 subscribers. You don't know how much that means to me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.